You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Georgetown and Syracuse, an old Big East rivalry. It used to be two of the premier programs in college basketball going head-to-head twice, sometimes even 3 times a year. And now it appears that that rivalry, which was already hanging by a thread, may just be gone. It was announced yesterday by CBS Sports' John Rothstein that Georgetown and Syracuse are not expected to play against each other this upcoming season. First and foremost, I do find it a little strange because the ACC, and we'll talk about it later on here in the show, they changed their conference schedule for every single one of their teams. They're only going to play 18 conference games as opposed to 20. That gives every single team 2 extra non-conference games. I thought that was a way for Syracuse to keep the Georgetown rivalry alive and that they would play each other again this upcoming season, but they're not. But let's talk about this rivalry. Why is it not the same? I think there are 2 reasons for it. Number one, and a lot of you all probably share the same opinion, but Syracuse moving to the ACC in 2013-14 had a massive impact on the Syracuse-Georgetown rivalry. Why? They're not in the same conference. So you're going to play that opponent less than before. Simple as that, right? But really, aside from Syracuse moving to the Big East, I think the reason why the rivalry here has kind of lost its luster is because of the state of both programs. Quite frankly, these 2 schools, Syracuse and Georgetown, which used to be 2 of the premier programs in all of college basketball, they're not the same as what they once were. Now, that's not to say that Georgetown can't be good again or Syracuse can't be good again. We're hoping as Syracuse fans that at least Syracuse can be good again, right? And we want to get back to the NCAA tournament and be one of the top teams in the league. Maybe win a national championship in a few years. I don't know. I mean, we're Syracuse fans. We hope for that to happen. But both teams just have not been good in quite a while. They haven't been nationally relevant in quite a while. Syracuse has not made the NCAA tournament since 2021. And they really haven't been all that close since then either. The closest that they came to making the tournament was actually 2 years ago, the 2023-24 season, where they won 20 games, but it still wasn't enough for them to be even really considered on Selection Sunday. And Georgetown, quite frankly, they've only made the tournament once since 2015. That was in 2021, where they went on a massive run in the Big East tournament. Credit to them. And they were one of those bid stealers. And they lost very early in that tournament. I believe that if Syracuse and Georgetown were both still really good, top 25 programs in a year in and year out basis, that, maybe the rivalry wouldn't be the same as if they were in the same conference, but you don't need to be in the same conference to have a great rivalry. I mean, Louisville and Kentucky, they're not in the same conference. They have a great rivalry. Syracuse and Georgetown could have been something similar to that, but quite frankly, these teams have not been very good in quite a while, and so the rivalry has now lost its luster. So what about the future? None of this means that Syracuse and Georgetown will never play each other again, or that Syracuse and Georgetown will never be nationally relevant again. In fact, Syracuse and Georgetown have gone stretches where they don't play. When Syracuse moved to the ACC in 2013-14, they did not play for a couple seasons. The 2013-14 season, the 2014-15 season, the 2 schools did not play before playing each other, I believe, every single year from 2015-16 onward. But I think just both parties right now are taking a break. A 1-year gap, maybe? How long will it last? I don't know. But I think if you want to really see this rivalry again, you need both schools to be really good again. So for now, Georgetown has actually pivoted. I believe it was also announced yesterday, around the same time as the fact that Syracuse and Georgetown weren't really expected to play, that Georgetown's going to play a home-and-home series with North Carolina next season. So that's still Big East and ACC going head-to-head, and perhaps Syracuse can do something similar to that. I think that a home-and-home series with UConn or St. John's, those are two of the tougher opponents in the Big East. I still think that would be pretty cool. Bring back some old memories with those schools going head-to-head. Maybe they try for the quote-unquote easier opponents in the Big East. Maybe like a DePaul or a Seton Hall. Could do that instead. Or maybe Syracuse just avoids the Big East altogether next season when scheduling their non-conference games. Maybe they pick a couple of teams from the Big Ten or the Big 12. Possibilities are endless. Maybe they decide to pick two random schools to try to get to quote-unquote freebie wins where you try to win by 30 plus to boost your tournament resume. Maybe. There are a lot of different ways where Syracuse can try to fill the void of not having to play Georgetown this upcoming season.